Well, today I'm going to be talking about like our fitness journey, our weight loss journey. Now, for most of you here, we've had a big weight loss journey, right? For some of us, we've always been fit.
Not
right?
necessarily.
Not always?
Not always.
All right, so we'll talk about that. But the first thing I really want to talk about, because I want your perspective, is for women, like what stops them from joining a gym? So like what goes through their head? Because, you know, for a guy to go to like a big box gym, whatever, this dude's there, you lift weights, you kind of figure it out. But I know from being a weight loss coach, a fitness instructor, physical therapist, like it's different for women. Can someone speak to that, or multiple people speak to that? Like, you know, what stops them, in your opinion?
Intimidation from other people that are there, might know more than you do. The guys can be intimidating too.
Like creepy guys?
Yeah, creepy guys.
Yeah.
I don't know, just I think feeling like you're not doing it right, or you don't know what you're doing. So you kind of like hide away into a corner and try and do it, and then you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm not doing it right, and you leave, or else I have. So that's my take on it.
Like not knowing how to use all the different equipment that they have.
Yeah.
So you're standing there trying to watch other people figure it out.
And I guess that makes sense because I started working on the gym when I was like 14 or 15 with my dad's boss's son, who was like 3 or 4 years older than me, so he was about 18. So he showed me how to lift weights. And not really, I don't really think too much about that, but like had that not happened, then, and I think it's for lifting weights, when you're younger, it's usually more men. Like your son.
Oh yeah.
Right?
He's obsessed. He's obsessed.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's more of like a, you know, men going to the lifting weights. And I think we were talking about it today, we were talking about the intra, and the protein and the amino acids. And I always emphasize, and maybe it's just me, but like, women don't want to get bulky. That's what they always say to me. They don't want to be like jacked up for the most part. And I say, hey, like, unless you're like a man or you're on like testosterone, like you cannot bulk up that much, just biologically. Because I think that pushes women away. Like they think they're going to touch a weight and all of a sudden they're going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Was that a concern for people, for you guys before? Like, what do you think about that? Does that scare you? Like with the weights, because most of you in the semi-privates where we use weights.
That didn't scare me.
That didn't scare me either.
No.
It didn't even enter into my head. And
Yeah.
I'm a bigger woman, you know what I mean? But it was more, for me, I think a lot of times before I started getting into fitness and going into the gym was really worrying about whether I was going to hurt myself, whether I was going to get judged by people.
Mm-hmm.
So
What would they judge you on?
I don't know, by the way I looked,
Okay.
you know what I mean? So
like being overweight?
being overweight, the way I look, you know, because especially in the dawn of cell phones and people recording other people and posting it on social media, I've seen it.
Oh
We've
yeah,
all
the fear of
seen it.
becoming a meme, right?
To be a meme or whatever it is,
Definitely.
because that does happen. So I think a lot of times people see that and they think that could happen to them. But with the weights itself, I was always afraid that if I did it without somebody showing me how to do it, that I was going to really hurt myself. And I didn't want to hurt myself. So.
Now, going back to like why, because we're all in a small boutique fitness, right? Some of us for the love of kickboxing, some of us because we feel more comfortable. Like, but what's the benefit for you guys feeling going to like a smaller studio of mostly women, right?
Yes.
I would probably say like 98% of the members are women, especially in the kickboxing. What's the benefit of that versus going to like a big box gym, you know, with tons of different kinds of people?
This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bob.
Definitely.
Just and Bob
Yeah.
too, but this, you know, this is the first place I personally have been to that I've actually connected with people and am comfortable around people, especially other women, because sometimes it's very tough, you know. So it's nice to be able to go to a place that's smaller that you can relate to people at different levels of their fitness journey, no matter what it is. So you get inspiration from
Yeah,
from
and you
everybody.
don't feel judged
Right.
here at all. Like everybody's doing different things. Like sometimes you have to modify something and nobody's looking at you like, oh my God, why are you doing that?
Right.
You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think that's when I set up to do this, because I was as a physical therapist or just like as my mom taught me, like you don't want to make people feel awkward. So well, I do silly things because if I'm silly, like whatever, but like when you come in, you don't want that, you know? And I actually had a lady today came in for a sales meeting. She's on the phone. She comes in. She's like, I can't do this, talking to her friend. And she's like, I got 2 bad knees, and I know this was kickboxing. I go, well, it's a good thing I'm a physical therapist, right?
That's true.
I've had people do this who didn't have a leg. You know, I think I said 2 legs, but I meant 1 leg. But anyway, if you still didn't have 2 legs, you could still do it. You could sit down,
Yeah.
right? And she signed up, and it's about like, well, where else are you going to do it? You're going to do it on your own without supervision, you know?
Right. You need to get help, not just from you and the coaches, but from like each other.
From each other, yeah.
I think that, and I think that, you know, I was talking to Mariah before the podcast, and we were talking that, like, how much have you lost?
Like 30-something pounds,
Yeah, right, and toning up as well. And, you know, obviously you guys all do the work, right? There's not anyone here who doesn't do the work. Mariah does the work. As far as nutrition, the supplements, as far as the working out, you know, doing the semis, all that stuff. And, you know, a couple people who aren't here right now make comments, like in the studio anymore, right? You can make comments, but if you didn't put in the work, you have no right to make comments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because people get jealous of people who put in the work. And as coaches, like, I can't do anything if you're not going to do what I say, right? Or if you're not coachable. Mm-hmm. Can anyone speak on that? Like, being coachable and actually working towards your goals versus just showing up. We talked a little bit about that. And for someone who put in the work, right? Like, I always said that, you know, you can bust on me, but like, I did the work. So like, you can either do the work or not, but like, I don't really care what you say. So let's back up for a second. So we do the check-ins, right? And we hit a plateau, like
Yeah, I wasn't going anywhere for a little while.
Right? And so frustrated. So then me and Josh sit down, and we both did it at that time because it was new for us, so we wanted to both do it. And what do we tell you?
To increase my protein and start doing protein shakes.
We had the meeting, and what did you think at that meeting?
That you were just trying to make me buy supplements from you guys.
Right. And so like, we know that.
Right.
Right. And I was telling her, like, I can tell you that. Like, I don't care if you buy supplements or not. I'm just telling you what works. Right. And so I actually, I don't know, I didn't tell you this. I was like, I don't know if she's going to stay, Josh. Right. Because I was like, she was not happy at that meeting. You know? But we, like, as a coach, like, our job is to tell the truth. Right. Mm-hmm. So I think you didn't do anything. You came in like next week or a couple days later, and then I mentioned it to you again. And I think then that's when you kind of...
No, I did start, because instantly I was like, fine, you know, I'll prove them wrong, I'll increase my protein and nothing's going to change.
And it won't work.
And I remember I was sitting there talking to Kat, like, I had a protein shake this morning, and you overheard, and you're like, good girl. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then by 2 weeks later, you know, I had 4 pounds that dropped off.
Yeah.
So,
Yay!
Yep.
yeah,
That's awesome.
so you guys are right.
Dang it.
I know, right?
Because you know the formula. Right? So talk to me about, like, from Jen's perspective. So you weren't always fit? Because I've never seen anyone come into the studio be more fit than you.
Yeah,
I've literally never seen it.
No,
I concur.
no, I wasn't always fit. I definitely had, when my kids were little, and, you know, I was, believe it or not, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I just about hit 200 pounds. And that's when I got serious about losing weight. And for me, it was about finding something that I love to do. So I was a former gymnast, and I'm used to kind of going to the gym and getting the crap beat out of me a little bit. Like, so
Sure.
it's, you know, the idea of like, yeah, this is going to hurt a little, I'm going to be sore, but that's okay. So I kind of had that mentality, and I went to gyms for a lot, you know, I went to Gold's Gym, I still go to Planet Fitness, but gyms are boring. And part of the reason I like kickboxing is because I have to think about so many other things all day, and when I come here, I don't have to think about what I'm going to do here. Like, you've done the thinking for me, and
Right.
I know that I'm going to get a fantastic workout. I'm going to work really hard, and I don't have to worry about, is it arm day, is it leg day? Because that's another thing that's like too intimidating. Or just like, it's just, I think for a lot of women, it just turns into another thing they have to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, I tell people, like, you guys have all different jobs. You're a lawyer, right? Did I just blow up your spot? But like, I can't go into your job and just look on YouTube videos and be a lawyer, right? So,
Yeah.
but yes, all the information's out there, but like, just because the information's out there, you weren't trained in this. So my degree's in kinesiology and then physical therapy, I went to school for that, so I know what's going on. And you still learn. But like most people just think they can try to do themselves, but they can't. And it's not their fault. It's just that's not what they went to school for, right? That's not what they dedicated their life to. There's other things going on. So that's where you need that coach to come in and then help you and change those levers, right? What are some of the things that, like for Kelsey, you do a lot of Zoom, right? You're probably our most dedicated Zoomer coming, and you do in studio too. But being able to do the Zoom, but you still do the check-ins with Coach Josh. How helpful is that to have like a coach that you can reach out to or start looking at your stats and weighing in?
Yeah, that's definitely been incredibly helpful. I've been doing this for half of my life now. Been working on losing this weight. I'm down 80 from my like highest, which has been has been tough to maintain. But I think having the check-ins has been a huge help, especially the protein thing too. That was a big thing for me too.
And we make the least amount of money on the protein. I don't make anything on the protein. It's
I
peanuts.
don't even use your protein. I use Orgain because my uncle works there.
Well, I hope he gets fired.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I
work for
hope it doesn't. Yeah, right. But I've really enjoyed the check-ins for that exact reason, is that I am reminded regularly that I need to up my protein, or at least maintain where it was. And I did notice the same type of thing. I lost a few pounds as soon as I started upping my protein intake. And it just helps me stay on track a lot more. I do like the Zoom classes though, because it is a very convenient option for me because I live like 20 minutes away.
Yep.
I like to do it like right after work, so it's nice and easy.
Well, you're proof that it works.
Yeah, true.
So here's the thing, like, yeah, obviously we kickbox and we do the weights, but like, what people need to understand is it doesn't, any kind of mode of exercise will work.
Yep.
Right? You could, that curling, like, in the Olympics, they have that
That
thing
whole
you curl.
curling.
You could do that all day.
Oh, that
And eat good, and like, you're still
That's
gonna
a
lose
sport.
weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could literally clean the windows all day and eat good. But again, it's something you like, but it's just the fact that people need to move more and eat better. Can somebody share as we go through like this weight loss journey, like you said, I lose it, I keep, I try to keep it off. A lot of people roller coaster. Can anyone speak to the main struggles they've had throughout this journey? So a couple of us had the bariatric surgery, right? 1 and 2, right? And we'll talk about that in a little bit, but just the struggles. We talked about like body dysmorphia,
Oh, yeah.
right? Can we speak to, and we can get into this, but like, I don't know if anyone, you have a young daughter. I'm sure it's prominent in teenage women, right? Especially with, before, but now especially with social media.
Yeah.